Hello and welcome. In this video, we will discover the 15 rules of dating. In today's world of fast-paced everything, online dating, and all the other advancements that have occurred, the rules of dating have certainly changed. No matter if you're a woman or a man, the rules of dating are much different than they were even 10 years ago. In fact, things have really become more complicated. The formalities of dating a few years ago, when the man paid for the date and called a few days later, while the woman waited for the call to be pursued, are over. Of course, they had many social flaws as well. It was not fair for the men who felt shy or the women who wanted to be aggressive and make the first move. However, it sure did make things easier to understand. The rules were clear, who was to take control and who would wait. No matter who has given you dating advice and what your history is, the rules of dating have changed. It's become more complicated than it used to be. Modern dating has little to nothing to do with the old-fashioned movies where guys buy flowers on the first date, ask you out via phone, and introduce themselves to your parents like perfect gentlemen. However, while there's a lot more flexibility in the romance world these days, there are still certain rules that need to be followed. Dating can feel a bit overwhelming at times, but the good news is that there are ways to turn it into a rewarding experience. So whether you're new to the dating scene or are more of a seasoned dater, it's important to live by, and date by, these 15 essential rules. Just before we dive into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to download your free book to successfully seduce any girl by clicking on the link in the description below. Number 1. Don't ghost. Ghosting after dating, or even worse, ditching mid-date, is the most disrespectful thing you can do. It's rude, and frankly, that kind of behavior will end up giving you a bad reputation with other potential dates. If you have any respect for the other person, or if you want to avoid bad times in the future, don't ghost. Period. Man or woman up. On the other hand, obnoxiousness is not sexy. While open communication is important, this does not mean you should send 8 messages for their one. There is nothing more annoying than having several messages waiting for you before you can even reply to one. 2. Put yourself out there. Before you venture to add someone else to your life, make sure you've cleaned your own emotional closets. Nothing destroys even the strongest of connections like pursuing love from a broken place. One key rule when it comes to dating is to create more opportunities to meet more potential people. And that means breaking out of your comfort zone and making yourself open and available to meet new guys and gals and have new experiences. So whether you sign up for a different dating app or ask to be fixed up, you're taking strides towards making a real effort to meet others. 3. Keep an open mind. Along these lines, another essential dating rule is to keep an open mind when it comes to meeting new people. All too often, we're so afraid of making a bad impression or they're not liking us that we end up putting on a front when we are on a date. By being authentic, you allow them to get to know the full you, not just the parts you feel keen to show. Remember, just because someone has different interests than you and/or isn't your typical type doesn't mean that you should automatically write him or her off. After all, while it's imperative that you don't settle, it's equally imperative that you give someone else a chance, just as you'd hope others would do for you in return. 4. Stay safe. Before you venture to add someone else to your life, be sure you've cleaned your own emotional closets. Nothing destroys even the strongest of connections like pursuing love from a broken place. An additional rule when it comes to dating is to keep yourself out of harm's way. And in light of many of today's dating apps and sites where you're potentially meeting a stranger, it's never been more important to remain vigilant and put your safety and well-being first. With this in mind, some top safety tips include letting a trusted friend and confidant know where you are, meeting your date in a public place, and staying clear-headed so that you can make good choices from start to finish. 5. Set your own pace. When you're dating someone new, it's also important that you move your connection forward at a rate with which you're totally comfortable. In other words, you shouldn't feel pressured or obligated to move faster than you'd like to and/or engage in any activity that you're not ready for, and that goes for both in and out of the bedroom. Remember, if you want to have a shot at turning a dating relationship into a serious commitment, you get to call the shots and go at your own pace. 6. Realize that dating takes time. And speaking of setting your own pace, it's important that you take some of the stress off of yourself and recognize that finding the perfect person won't necessarily happen overnight. After all, if you put pressure on yourself to just settle down already, you're more likely to put yourself in a position where you'll have to settle for less. So rather than rushing the process and selecting a partner who doesn't meet all of your needs and criteria, it's in your best interest to put in the time it takes to date more people and up your chances of finding the one. 7. Keep a positive attitude. Another key dating rule has to do with your overall outlook and attitude about dating itself. If you feel as though you're never going to meet someone of quality and that every date you go on is going to be a disaster, these negative expectations will likely become self-fulfilling prophecies. After all, your pessimistic energy will be palpable to the people around you while simultaneously affecting your behavior in general. However, if you opt to keep an optimistic mindset, your date will feed off of your positive energy and the entire experience will be far more pleasant on all counts. 8. Date for the fun of it, not the destination. While marriage and children are just as much of a modern concept as a traditional one, it's important not to approach every single date as though you're interviewing a potential life partner. A sense of spaciousness where the journey is in this moment is just as much appreciated as a potential destination, which makes for a much more fun, relaxed, and enjoyable dating experience. It's also important that you look at dating as an opportunity to have some fun. For instance, the next time you go out on a date, why not meet at a bar you've wanted to check out, a favorite coffee shop, or even at an arcade or bowling alley? Not only are you putting yourself in a better position to have a good time right off the bat, but even if you don't hit it off with this person, you'll still get something out of the date that you enjoyed. 9. Don't be too shy to approach. Most people who don't go on dates fail with the first step. They either lack self-confidence or they build up a dark, deep castle of thoughts what might go wrong in case they approach that certain person. First of all, dating is casual, everybody should do it, it's nothing bad. If it would be bad, you probably wouldn't be here on Earth. No one cares about what you do besides yourself. People are approached every day. Some get through, others are rejected. It's not that it matters. It's all about yourself and that you feel comfortable approaching other people. In case you are really bad, start out small, ask for the time or something on occasion. Find a good pickup line and learn to approach. It's not bad if you fail, you can always learn. If there is someone you're interested in, make the move. Too often we place importance on things that simply hold no meaning. Waiting for them to approach you is no more significant than if you were to approach first. Life rewards the brave and self-sufficient. 10. It's not bad if you fail. Learn to live an interesting life and be happy. Get some cool hobbies and experience new things. Dating usually is about listening and telling good stories and learning how to get closer and break the ice, but this is not the issue here. The more interesting your life is, the more stories you will have to tell. And in case you're into bits and bytes, you have a hard time to find someone else who is into that as well, most people don't think it's the most interesting thing on the planet. 11. Hold the sex. While this may not seem all that modern, it can be when taken in context of current trends. These days, more relationships start from what were once casual affairs, meaning that the sex came before anything else. While there's nothing wrong with this per se, it does complicate things when we introduce the hormone surge from physical intimacy that can sometimes cloud our vision. This clouded vision can make us more inclined to make choices based on innate chemical responses rather than true potential. 12. Do not use communication as a weapon. There are no rules for when or who should contact after a date. If you want to reach out and express gratitude or enjoyment for the time spent together, do so. Do not withhold communication or fail to follow up until a certain amount of time has passed as a means of playing a game or otherwise gaining the upper hand. 13. Being Facebook friends is great. Stalking their Facebook page, or Instagram for that matter, is not cool. I totally get the hunger to know someone better, especially at the beginning of a connection. Nothing is creepier, however, than stalking a potential mate on social media. It's far more fun to allow a natural mysteriousness that comes with slowly getting to know someone rather than overdosing on their Facebook status updates from the last 5 years. 14. Honor yourself first and foremost. Ultimately, the term rules implies that there is only one right way to date, something which I do not subscribe to. Honoring what you feel is right for you in any given moment is ultimately the only surefire way to ensure that you have a positive dating experience. Take time to pause and center yourself and see how your body and internal guidance system are calling you. Trust that internal guide and know it will be your greatest ally in creating healthy and lasting relationships. 15. Invest in yourself. All too often we enter into a new connection and become consumed by it. We stop visiting our friends and doing the things that lend fortification to our foundation. You must maintain a life that is entirely your own and offers you support outside of a relationship. Believe it or not, there is an easy way to meet the right person. It may not happen right away, but there is widespread success if you apply the methods above. Just make friends. The more people you meet and talk to, the nicer and popular you appear to everyone. Also, the more people you get to know, the more likely that one of them may have another friend or even family that they may match you with. Or the more friends you hang out with, the more places you may go to meet a potential match. Many people know how to date, but there are also a lot of people who never had any luck with the opposite gender. Either way, the above guidelines will prepare you for dating success, especially when the chances come to go out with that attractive person you've liked for a long time. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to the channel. You're also free to receive the new book, 9 Keys to Seduce Any Girl, by clicking on the link in the description below.